Hey guys, so I am like extra super duper late with what I hope is going to be a short video, but if you've watched any of these vlogs before, you know that I don't have the best track record for making these short, but I got something in the mail today that I wanted to show you guys. This gorgeous baby right here in the back. Um, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's not exactly the same. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see it. It's not exactly the same as the ebook cover for Ante Up, and I think that I'm going to actually adjust that cover to match this a little bit better. But I ordered my proof copy of this in glossy, and I think that, and while I love it, I think that it's beautiful. I think that I'm going to, I don't think that I'm going to order one in a matte finish too. I think that I will like the matte finish just a little bit better. Like, I think that it will just, having this in a matte finish, I think will be just a little bit, take it a little bit further in my, oh my God, I love this of it. And I also ordered proof for these babies. This is the whole Wright Brothers series. And the other two covers, I didn't have Bending the Rules done yet, but the other two covers needed a little bit of work. And as you can see, they're now all the same size. Everything is all lined up. And with a few minor changes to the backs of the covers for pulling doubles and getting schooled. And as you probably also can see, Bending the Rules is quite a bit thicker than the other two were. We got a little bit worried with that one, but we go where the story takes us, and we let the story dictate the word count, which is a perk, I guess, of being indie. I can, I don't have any particular rules as it comes to word count that I have to adhere to. I just kind of go with what seems appropriate or what feels appropriate for the characters. And once they're done giving me story, they're done giving me story, which kind of brings me back to this baby here. If I usually do this type of vlog where I kind of talk about my process and talk about my inspirations and things for the story. This usually comes, if you guys have been following me, this usually comes kind of before I release the book, probably usually kind of during my editing process before I release the book, or sometimes very shortly after. And I had every intention of doing that with this project as well, but at the time that I released Ante Up, my whole household was dealing with bronchitis, and that includes my babies. And actually think that it might be getting ready to start up again. So I actually have my orange juice and my echinacea tea and all of that stuff ready to kind of do battle and my vitamin C gummies and all that stuff, because I'm a baby about taking pills. I hate taking pills. Which brings me to really wishing that they had a pill for anti-inflammatories and stuff like that. I actually have I have a diagnosis since the time that I wrote that blog post, where I was the blog post that I wrote in lieu of doing a video, and I actually have a herniated disc in my spine, which is not fun. It's not fun, but we're pushing through. We're making it. We're getting there. But at the time that I released the book, I was kind of like really heavy into that, and really kind of having a hard time with everything that was going on. And so I really couldn't find the energy, I guess, to do this. But here we are now, and I am running my mouth about irrelevant things instead of talking about Ante Up. And again, if you guys follow my blog or anything like that, you kind of have gotten some of my process for that. But I had been for a while now, I had been in this mode of, I love contemporary romance. I love it so much, and it comes very naturally for me, that warmth and, the kind of sweetness and, I just like, that's my, that's my lane, that's my space. But I had been feeling the need to do something a little bit different because I don't want to limit myself to just being, and I say just, and when I say just, I don't mean to diminish being a contemporary romance author at all, because again, that's my lane. That's what I love. That's what that's where my passion lies. But I didn't want to I didn't want to box myself into that, knowing that I had other stories and other things that I wanted to do. And going into 2017 and going into Ante Up, into what that story was, I kind of had it in my head like, oh man, all of 2017 is going to be, this weird and different stuff. And now that I have written Ante Up, I honestly feel like it's out of my system. And now I'm just like, give me all the sweetness, give me all the syrupy stuff. But I'm pretty sure that after a couple of contemporary projects, I'll probably get that feeling again, because I just, the way that my process works, and the way that my creative energy kind of works, is that I need to do different things to kind of keep myself going. Like, I have to switch it up, I have to change it up, I have to kind of cleanse my palate. If I've done something heavy, it doesn't even need to be necessarily dark, but if I've done something heavy, I'm going to want to do something lighter, even if it's something small. I'm just something to break that up, because when you're writing these stories and when you're developing these characters, you kind of have to get into their heads, and you kind of like, you delve so deep into them that once you come up for air, it's kind of like you need a little something more before you dive back. You need a little something different before you dive back into it again. And so I'm pretty sure that once once I take a little bit of a breather, I'm going to want to go back into it, because I have the Sutherland series, which I'm calling it a series, but don't hold me to that. But that series, which if anyone was kind of bothered by the way that Ante Up doesn't really, I don't think this is too much of a spoiler to say that Ante Up doesn't really end up, like, we don't even have full confirmation that Asha and King are going to be a couple. In my head, they are, and in my head they're going to be fine. They just didn't give me enough to, to explore that. But on paper, we don't have any type of confirmation for that. We just kind of have to believe that they're going to make it work, and believe that they're going to, kind of figure it out. And if anyone was kind of not really feeling that, like the Sutherland series, it has sex, but I'm not like the romance is not so much. Because my heroine for that is a lot. And I have a couple of other things that I've started that they just are what they are, and what they are, I'm not sure can be categorized into any of the traditional, I guess, romance categories. But we'll see kind of where my muse leads me. It'll always be Black people. That's just kind of, that's just me. That's who, that's where my passion and my energy lies. So don't like, when you hear me saying, oh, I want to do something different, like, don't think that it's going to be, that it's going to be that, because it won't. It'll always be Black people. But God, I went off on another tangent, didn't I? Instead of talking about this book. But because we're so far past, when I release it, and I say so far past, as if it's just been months and months, and it really hasn't. It's been like 2.5 weeks or something like that. But I'm pretty sure that most of you have probably read the book by now. Like, if you care enough, if you care enough about what I'm talking about to be watching this, you've probably already read the book. But something that I say often is that when I'm writing certain projects, like, once I kind of get to the end with them, I feel like, or not necessarily that I feel like, but that I realize going into the next things that those projects, are preparing me for something that I'm going to do with a different project. Like I made a comparison, I drew a comparison between Ante Up and The Truth, because there were some similar elements. Both of the heroines had locks. Both of the heroines had sick mothers, or had sick, or had mothers who were dealing with, with an impairment of one type or another, and these heroines who feel like they've had to kind of take on the brunt of responsibility for their families, and just different little things like that. A hero who was previously heartbroken by this woman who just kind of turned out to be not what she seemed, or who made a change, or just left him mildly broken, or maybe not mildly broken in King's case, maybe a lot broken in his case, but just different little elements, like different in the small details, but things that kind of prepared me to be able to explore that element in a different way for a different project. And just kind of thinking about what my possible next projects are. And there's three possibilities. Thinking about what I feel like is speaking loudest at this moment, is a married couple, and I've never written a married couple before. I've written them going into marriage, but I've never written a married couple before, and it's a lot for this particular couple. They've been married for a long time, or not for a long time, for a good length of time. Like in a 10-ish years. They've been married and they've been together, and we just kind of come up on this point where a really really major shift happens, something that completely turns everything kind of on its side, and leaves them. Sorry about that. A little interruption, but what was I saying? Oh, we have this married couple who comes to this point of this really major shift in their relationship and in their marriage, and it it just kind of changes everything, like all facets of their life. They have children, they have their careers, and we just it's it's exploring how they are able to not just manage their marriage, but manage how the shift in their marriage affects everything else in their lives. All these things that were kind of carefully curated to appear a certain way or to be a certain way, these really carefully managed images and things that they have to that just kind of fall apart, and they have to figure out how to navigate that. And for him, figuring out how to navigate kind of his own feelings about his masculinity, and not his masculinity, because I think that sends a different message than that sends a different message than what I mean. But him, or maybe yeah, yeah, actually yeah, him having to figure out how to accept the changed role in their marriage, and him figuring out how to still you know feel like the man in his household when after the shift happens. And for her, is figuring out how to, I'm trying to figure out how to say this in a way that doesn't sound really really gross and really and really patriarchal. Her figuring out how to manage as a wife in a way that doesn't threaten her husband's, I want to say his ego. And it's funny to me. I'm laughing at myself because I'm trying so hard to manage my words about this, and make it pretty, but it's not pretty. Like the relationship and them, trying to navigate all of this is not pretty, and they're going to have to figure out if they can, even though it's not pretty, if they can make it work, and if it's worth it, to make it work. And if I do that project, that will be part of the Inevitable series. My other possible option would also be part of the Inevitable series. And that third option, I'm not going to say because because I don't want to I don't want to get any hopes up quite yet, because I'm pretty sure that the one that I'm going to do is going to be from the Inevitable series, and I don't want to get hopes up about that. But I just looked at this, and I've talked for 16 minutes, and I feel like that's already way too long. I could talk more, but I'm going to stop this here because I feel like that it's plenty long enough. Um, and maybe, I'll make an attempt. And I say this in every one, so I probably shouldn't even say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Maybe I will make an attempt to do this more often so that when I do it, it doesn't end up being almost now 17 minutes of me rambling. But if you're interested in those books, in paperback, I need to do some looking through them. I just got them today. I need to do some looking through them and all of that, before I make those available in paperback. And I might not make them available in paperback before April, before the Girl Have You Read event in Houston. I might do a thing where, you gotta come see me and get it signed. You gotta come get a signed copy, if you want it, before April. Maybe I'll think about that a little more before I decide on that. But anyway, I'm over 17 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.